Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. If you need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We've got a training session going on tomorrow, which is going to be at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So let's dive in here. Let's see what's going on today, and I'll give you my opinions. So starting with the DXY, looks strong to me, and I think this could potentially go higher as we've got a move off the bottom into a flag pattern that is now into a bullish engulfing. That generally works its way on up. So perhaps higher dollar and maybe even higher yields with it. So looking at yields, we've got the 2-year yield. It's a very similar setup to the dollar. We've got a downward move here. We've got a nice, good little buying pressure move here into a flag pattern, which generally will work its way on up. Perhaps the 2-year has fallen a little bit too much. I don't know, but looks like we want to get a little bit of a bounce here. The 10-year also looks very similar to those setups. We've broken the downtrend line. It looks like we are consolidating here for maybe a potential move higher. We'll see if that occurs or if we get a pullback before that move higher. The 30-year is doing the same thing as the 10-year. It's the same exact setup. Broken down trend line. We're squeezing up to some degree here, and we'll see which way we break. TYX TNX ratio basically flat. We've been compressed for the 30-year and 10-year. We've been compressed at a very low level. You can see that we're squeezing up on the right-hand side, almost like a dead period. Now, are we going to rocket launch to the upside and shoot gold, silver higher, or are we going to stay compressed, inverted, where oil takes back off again? Big debate there, right? Bond prices pulling back today. And again, if we get a move higher in yields, I would expect this to go lower. If those yields drop, that means bond prices are going on up. Now, who's going to be right here? Don't know yet. Don't know yet. Gold, we had what? Slightly higher dollar in yields. Gold actually acting very strong today with a slightly higher day. And it looks like to me that we're kind of just meandering around here. Doesn't necessarily know where we want to go yet. And I think that's exactly what yields and the dollar are doing. We're trying to figure out what direction we're going to go here in the short term. Silver down a little bit, still below that big long-term trend line. And we have a trend line coming up here that we're still using as support. Platinum down 1.87%, a little bit more selling pressure over here. Looks like we've got some cooling off there, and that generally I think is interest rates and dollar causing this cool off across the precious metals board. Palladium also selling off. Maybe we get all the way back down to 950-ish in that level. XAU to gold ratio also selling off a little bit today. Has a nice big bullish engulfing yesterday. So again, that generally works its way on up. But today we've got some selling pressure down 1.64 of gold and silver mining companies underperforming gold itself. Again, we are still underneath this big long-term trend line that we have not broken out of yet. CRB index, we're up today, and this has been quite violent in both directions for oil. I know this is the CRB index, but oil is a big contributor to it. Are we going to punch through here, or are we going to hit our head on this resistance and roll over? If I were to take a guess, it looks like to me that we want to punch through it. We've got these candlesticks on the bottom, which is generally buying pressure. Whenever you see a lot of those candlesticks at the bottom, you can see them here too, generally means you want to move up. It doesn't mean that it gives you the duration or the force of the move, but it means that this looks like it wants to go higher. CRB to S&P 500, that's also moving on up today. You can see that we've almost got like a little double bottom. Maybe we'll work our way on up. We're towards the bottom end of this flag pattern. We'll see if that holds. But it looks pretty good with little wicks at the bottom there. It looks like it wants to go up. GDX, so we're down in GDX, back to support. This is going to be very sensitive to yields. So GDX does well when the yield curve uninverts, there's a slowdown in the system, and yields are falling. So GDX, GDXJ, and SILJ are all going to read the same thing. It's all basically the same thing. If I say GDX, it's all the same. So if those market conditions persist where we get increasing yields, this will go lower, which means most likely crude oil, uranium, stuff like that's going to go up. Crude oil up 2% today. This still, to me, looks like we are bottoming. We've got a broken down trend line. Maybe you can draw a trend line like this through here. No, you're not going to be able, any way you cut it, we're above that trend line. So again, it's been very volatile. I was surprised to see the selling pressure day yesterday, and we've got a bounce today, and we're right on that support level going across here. So again, we'll see where we go here. My guess is that we're trying to put in a bottom. TTF gas is sideways. There's strong momentum behind this, just from the selling pressure from up here. But I do think that we're getting at a pretty low area where we're going to find some good support. Generally speaking, right where we're at. Natural gas in America being as volatile as you can get. Yesterday, we had a strong reversal. Today, we're up 7.6%. Let's see if that momentum can continue us upward. XOP, yeah, you know me, hitting it up, down 1.22%. We've got wicks on the bottom here. What the heck is going on? With crude oil up 2.11, and we're down in XOP, my boy XOP. I think this is trying to bottom, but this is the weirdest looking bottom I've ever seen. Why do I think it looks weird? Well, why are we down? If we're trying to put in a bottom, why are we down 1.22% with crude oil up 2%? What is going on here? We should be seeing this accelerate. But we're also putting in, wicks at the bottom there, which means someone's buying it up towards the end of the day. It's not a total loss. This thing gapped lower in the morning. Boom, boom, boom. And now we came back up throughout the day. What is going on here, guys? Who's doing these gap downs in the morning? What the heck? It's like somebody gaps it down in the morning and then accumulates throughout the day. So maybe we've got something big coming in oil here, where we're going to launch to the upside massively, and someone's back there jamming this thing lower and then accumulating throughout the day to get people to sell their shares. Perhaps. We'll see. OIH also down lower, a little bit stronger of a close too. And now we're towards the bottom end of this support trend line of this upward channel. Are we going to rip back down, or are we going to get support here? Well, we're going to find out over the next few days. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust up 4.37%. Boys, let it run. So we had this increase, rising reg, and I said, guys, I wouldn't be too sure that this is going to break to the downside. You got all the RSI and MACD boys talking negative, but look at this move today. We'll see if this sticks. We'll see if the momentum continues. But I am in the camp that I think this will continue higher. Why? Because that's what happened last bull market. It didn't really pull back. It just kept going up. So again, we'll see if this is a false breakout to the upside, but hopefully the momentum can continue. I'll say that. The uranium equities following suit, looking quite strong, up 4% for URA, looking good. URANIum looking even better without that dividend payout day. We are coming up to basically all-time highs here. Well, let me see across here. All-time highs are at 51.33. We're getting close. We're at $50. So we punch through this, boys. This is it. Now let me do my little magic here, boys. Here we go. So I put a horizontal line here. We'll put a horizontal ray. I don't ever use that. We'll do a ray here. So there's the ray. Boom. Look at that ray, right? We've got this coming on up. We hit our head. Up. Could that be a cup? Could it be a handle? Could be a cup and handle. That's a continuation pattern. If we can bust through this area here and get above that 51.76. I'm going to leave that line there for us. And obviously, URNJ doing what we want to do, breaking out of this downtrend line to the upside. 5.45% today. I like it. I overweighted URNJ, so hopefully that is what outperforms and it doesn't make me look stupid. TAN pulling back. We're at support. this long-term support level there, and that's where we're residing at the moment. Looking at COPX down 1.8%. Maybe we want to come back and fill that gap. A lot of people think a lot of gaps need to be filled, but that could be the case. So let's look for a gap fill there. Lithium down 2.2%, looking kind of nasty here. But overall, we've got all these big bullish engulfings, so I'm gonna have to remain bullish until we break out below that support level there. REMX is doing the same thing. It wants to do the same thing as lithium. Apparently, they're cut from the same piece of something. I don't know what. SPX, we're right up against resistance again. Got the bloody nose. We'll see if we can punch through tomorrow. And then NASDAQ also, we go up to the dailies. Little bloody nose today that still looks good to go higher if it wants to pursue higher elevation here. KRE down a little bit, but still looks fantastic. We are above, not much selling pressure. That looks good. It's basically a flag pattern that looks like that. So looks good to go higher. Emerging markets pulling back. We had stronger yields, stronger dollar. It didn't really impact gold, but it's impacting emerging markets. We're back to support. XHB, which is also looking very good on a longer term basis. The monthlies, we just have a little bloody nose, continuation pattern to the upside. We've got bigger green candlesticks in this region here, small red candlesticks. That's exactly what I look for a move higher. We've got MOO down 1.12%. Looks like the trend line is weighing on it. A little bit of resistance, but it still looks good to try to punch through with some time. Copper looking a little bit weak here, guys. Down 1.3% of bearish engulfing. Let's see if we get some lower, a little bit more downside, and let's see if this support line underneath us holds in that general vicinity. Probably be down a little bit more like that. You're hitting these support zones there. So it looks like we want to go a little bit lower in copper today. Iron ore selling off a little bit. Definitely looking for that gap to be filled, apparently. And then we'll see when we hit that gap if we're going to turn on higher. But I still think we're going to go higher in iron ore. It still looks good. Aluminum up 0.17%, and we're back within the channel. We've got Baltic Dry Index down 4.17, cooling off. Maybe we want to come back to that long-term support line. That's been a support line since 1988. That's a big support line, guys. Maybe we want to reach down to that 1775 level in there, 1750. Newcastle coal enjoying some up movement today, 3.4%. And I think that's following nat gas and the rest. And we'll see if that continues higher. We've got some cold weather coming. Nat gas is moving higher, and we'll see how sustaining that nat gas price is to the upside. Bitcoin down 3.3%. Why is this falling apart? Oh, it's not really falling apart. We had a big day yesterday. Wow. It still looks good to go higher. It's a down day. It's down 3-some%, but we are above the breakout, and everything still looks good to go higher, in my opinion. Ethereum also still looks good. You've got like a flag pattern going on or something going on there. It's like a channel on top of a channel here. One channel, another channel. Got resistance right where we're at. We'll see if we can punch through. We've got previous selling pressure with the wicks at the top there. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Go uranium. That thing ripped it. Everything else, I mean, it looks pretty good. We'll see if crude oil can get a bottom in here. Looks like copper's under a little bit of pressure, and iron ore filling some gaps, maybe doing some retest moves. But again, we'll see how this goes on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis. I'll keep giving you my financial opinions as we go. Don't forget, we've got a training session tomorrow at 8:30 Mountain Time. That is going to go over technical analysis, how I select some of the companies, why I have selected some of the companies that I've selected, dive in a little bit. I think maybe some people might want to jump into the financials a little bit, but you got to keep in mind, a lot of the financials are highly dependent on the commodity price itself. So again, for commodity companies, number one most important thing is the commodity price itself. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.